Top 15 Most Mysterious and Ancient Tombs Discovered by Archaeologists That Shocked Human History. Have you ever wondered what lies hidden beneath layers of earth and rock shaped by thousands of years of history? Untold secrets, spirits that have slumbered for millennia, and ancient tombs that are not merely resting places, but gateways to humanity's mysterious past. Since the dawn of recorded history, we have been fascinated, even obsessed, with death and with what might come after. That's why ancient civilizations built grand, intricate tombs, structures that housed not only mummified remains, but also vast treasures of culture, religion, and belief systems that had never been seen before. Each archaeological discovery of an ancient tomb doesn't just astonish scientists, it shakes the very foundation of what we thought we knew to be true. In today's video, you'll uncover the top 15 most mysterious and ancient tombs ever discovered, from the majestic pyramids of Egypt to the deep underground burial chambers of China, to the untouched, forbidden tombs of South America. Each tomb tells a story, holds a mystery, and perhaps carries a warning. So what exactly are these tombs? What terrifying and shocking secrets lie buried within them? Let's find out right now. The 700-year-old tomb of a powerful Ming Dynasty eunuch. In March of this year, Chinese archaeologists revealed key details about an excavation conducted from July to December 2023. The excavation took place at a Ming Dynasty tomb, dating from 1368 to 1644, located in Xinzhou, Shanxi Province, central China. The tomb features exterior door carvings of flowers, along with a number of valuable ancient artifacts. According to the archaeologists, an inscribed stele found in the tomb helped them identify it as belonging to Wang Luo, a eunuch who governed the city of Xinzhou and is believed to have died in his early 50s. The inscription also contained practical life advice, such as, "Those who borrow money to become wealthy should not be arrogant. They should adjust their behavior and be respectful when interacting with people of all ages." During the excavation, two well-preserved wooden coffins were uncovered. The larger one was painted yellow-brown and decorated with intricate patterns, along with an inscription that read, "Commissioned by the Ming court to serve the imperial palace as an official." The smaller coffin featured floral, grass, and peacock motifs, with colors and details still vividly visible. The coffin chamber contained two niches filled with intact ceramic vessels, believed to have once held grains and oil. In a private room behind the tomb, archaeologists found wooden furniture buried with the deceased. Items discovered included a variety of bowls, plates, and jars, giving the impression that people had once shared a meal there before leaving. Also found were candlesticks, incense burners, pewter vases, cups, painted wooden statues, and other ritual objects. One chair still bore beautiful golden patterns on its backrest. The archaeologist noted, "The tomb is well constructed, with many preserved wooden funerary objects and offerings. These items are rare in Xinzhou and even throughout Shanxi Province. They may provide valuable insights into the tomb's structure, local social life, and burial customs during the Ming Dynasty." Eunuchs played a significant role in Chinese history. They first appeared during the reign of Emperor Huan of the Han Dynasty, 146 to 167 AD, which spanned the Western Han, 202 BC, 9 AD, and Eastern Han, 25-220 AD periods. Eunuchs often held positions in government and sometimes wielded considerable influence over the fate of dynasties. At the height of the transition from the Ming to the Qing dynasty, an estimated 70,000 eunuchs lived in the Forbidden City. However, the eunuch system was ultimately abolished in 1924 when Puyi, the last emperor of China, was expelled from the Forbidden City. The last known eunuch, Sun Yaoting, passed away in 1996. The excavation of Wang Luo's tomb was part of a highway construction project in Shanxi last year. As a result, archaeologists also uncovered 66 other tombs dating from the Longshan culture, 3000 to 1900 BC, to the Qing dynasty, 1644 to 1911. These discoveries are considered highly significant and offer fascinating insights into China's archaeological history. The hidden tomb in the ancient city of Petra. Petra, the ancient city located in Ma'an Province, Jordan, is one of the world's most famous archaeological sites and holds exceptional historical significance. Once the capital of the Nabatean Kingdom, a powerful regional force that thrived from the 4th century BC to the 2nd century AD. Petra is known for its breathtaking architecture carved directly into rose-colored sandstone cliffs, giving the city an air of both mystery and antiquity. Among Petra's many landmarks, the treasury, also known as Al-Khazna, is the most iconic. This intricately built temple was long believed by Bedouin descendants of the Nabateans to house the gold and treasures of the Egyptian pharaohs. The lore and legends surrounding the treasury have drawn millions of visitors each year. However, a recent archaeological discovery has sparked new questions about Petra's history. Led by Dr. Pierce Paul Kriesman, Executive Director of the American Center of Research, a team of archaeologists excavated beneath the treasury and uncovered a tomb containing at least 12 human skeletons, along with valuable artifacts dating back approximately 2,000 years. This discovery followed years of research and investigation. Back in 2003, archaeologists discovered 2 tombs beneath the left side of the treasury. Later studies suggested these rooms were not unique. Using ground-penetrating radar, Dr. Krasman and his team identified physical features beneath the right side of the structure, indicating a much larger area that might contain additional tombs. The excavation commenced in August 2024, ultimately uncovering a remarkably intact tomb. Unlike previous Petra tombs, which were often empty or looted, this one held complete human remains and burial goods made of bronze, iron, and ceramics. According to Dr. Kriesman, this is a rare and invaluable find, offering deep insight into the life and burial practices of the Nabateans, an ancient nomadic people. The skeletal remains were generally well preserved, though some showed signs of mold damage due to Petra's seasonal humidity and flooding. One skeleton was even found holding a ceramic cup resembling the Holy Grail, further adding to the mystery of the discovery. This find is not only archaeologically significant, but may also unlock many secrets about Nabatean society, particularly their burial customs. Despite their rich and complex culture, much about the Nabateans remains unclear, especially their apparent egalitarian approach to burial. Previous tombs showed little distinction between royal and common burials, making it difficult for researchers to determine whether this newly found tomb belonged to royalty. Petra is not only one of the new 7 wonders of the world, but also a place full of unsolved mysteries and untold stories. And perhaps, with each new discovery, Petra's role in the world of archaeology and historical research will continue to grow. As you can see, the wonder of this ancient city lies not only in its stunning architecture, but also in the hidden stories that researchers are still slowly bringing to light. The 4,800-year-old tomb in Poland reveals a terrifying secret. A prehistoric burial site in Poland has unveiled a brutal massacre of women and children from a large family that occurred approximately 4,800 years ago. That is the theory proposed by researchers after analyzing the remains of 15 prehistoric individuals discovered near the village of Kozice, a town in Przeworsk County in the southern Polish voivodeship. The tragic burial site contained no remains of adult men, leading experts to believe that the women and children were killed while the men were away, possibly on a hunting expedition. Researchers theorize that the men may have returned home only to discover that their families had been slaughtered by a rival group. The surviving warriors then carefully buried their loved ones, placing mothers holding their children together, along with jewelry and domesticated animals. Excavations in 2011 had already uncovered this mass grave, with crushed bones and cut skulls indicating that the victims died violent and painful deaths. Bone analysis showed that all the individuals came from a closely related family group living around 2800 BC. 4 of the women were buried with their children, and among the men in the grave, 4 were identified as half-brothers. One middle-aged woman was found next to her 2 young sons, and another woman, estimated to be between 30 and 35 years old, was laid to rest with her teenage daughter and 5-year-old son. The absence of adult male relatives remains unexplained, but researchers suspect they may have been out hunting or farming at the time of the attack. Numerous grave goods were also discovered at the site, indicating that these individuals belonged to the globular amphora culture. DNA analysis confirmed they were farmers. According to a study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States, the corded ware people may be responsible for this gruesome act. Despite sharing some DNA with the victims, the corded ware culture was rapidly expanding across Europe at the time, which may have led to hostile encounters. The corded ware people were known to mix with the Yamnaya, considered by some scholars to be the most violent group of the period. The Yamnaya culture emerged around 3300 to 2600 BC on the Eurasian steppe and quickly spread across the continent, overwhelming and destroying other cultures. Ancient DNA evidence shows that the Yamnaya were well-fed, tall, and muscular. Some archaeologists suggest that their warrior tribes included highly skilled horsemen, who primarily lived on meat and dairy products and were remarkably physically strong. So, who were the globular amphora people? They lived in Central Europe from around 3400 to 2800 BC, contemporaneous with the corded ware and Yamnaya. They were primarily agricultural traders and livestock herders, especially pigs. Research shows that their settlements were small, basic, and temporary, but their burial customs were quite sophisticated, featuring wide grave pits and grave goods including animal bones and sacrificial offerings. They too shared DNA with the expanding corded ware populations and eventually intermingled with the Yamnaya following invasions from the west. Some theories suggest the Yamnaya invaders killed off all the men and raped the women, quickly spreading their bloodline through sheer force. Such brutal acts of aggression likely sparked widespread outrage during the Stone Age, compelling communities to resist the growing Yamnaya power. Evidence of resistance was found at Uhlau, Germany, where an archaeological site revealed the burial of a large number of women and children. Isotope analysis of the adults' teeth showed that they were not local, having grown up elsewhere, possibly as captured women taken by the Yamnaya. Among the 13 bodies found, 5 bore injuries likely resulting in death. Experts believe this may have been a revenge attack by rival tribes. It's assumed the men had left the site to tend livestock when the raid occurred, leaving the women and children vulnerable and defenseless. Uhlau stands as a potential example of retaliation by oppressed local populations, though experts warn the event also includes many anomalous elements, and that much remains to be uncovered in the future. The nearly 3,000-year-old tomb of an ancient woman. In the Yanghai region of the Turpan Basin, located in the Xinjiang Autonomous Region of northwest China, archaeologists made a significant discovery: the tomb of an ancient woman dating back nearly 3,000 years. Inside, they not only found her remains, but also an exceptionally crafted saddle, shedding light on the region's role in the early history of horseback riding in Central Asia. This find confirms a critical theory that Yanghai and the Turpan Basin played a strategic role in the development of horseback riding, especially during the first 500 years of the first millennium BC. The saddle may represent the earliest stage of saddle-making history, featuring design elements still visible in modern saddles today. The saddle was meticulously crafted, with padding made of cowhide, filled with a mix of deer hair and camel fur to soften its stiffness and ensure rider comfort. Its estimated age ranges from 727 to 396 BC, making it one of the most important ancient innovations in horseback equipment. Strikingly, the saddle was found positioned beneath the woman, as if she were sitting on it. She wore a leather coat, woolen trousers, and short leather boots, demonstrating the deep integration of horseback riding into daily life. In addition to the saddle, the tomb also contained other items, such as a ceramic cup with a handle, fragments of wool fabric, and remains of clothing, including a leather coat and short boots. Though most of the textiles had decayed over the millennia, the remarkable preservation of these artifacts provides rare insight into the material life of ancient Yanghai residents. Previous studies showed that around 300 years ago, people in the Altai Mountains had begun consuming horse milk, but the domestication and riding of horses in southern regions like Yanghai occurred later, around the 12th century BC. In fact, within the Yanghai cemetery, archaeologists discovered bridles in 19 tombs, dating from the 10th to 3rd centuries BC, suggesting the gradual integration of horses into both everyday life and warfare. The saddle found in Yanghai is especially important, not only as evidence of technological advancement, but also for what it tells us about a shift in mindset among riders. Before saddles, people relied solely on bridles to control horses, but the creation of saddles signaled a growing concern for comfort, safety, and the well-being of both rider and animal. It marked a transformation in how horses were perceived, not just as tools of labor or war, but as critical companions in human movement and development. The vampire tomb in Bulgaria. A recent archaeological discovery has stirred significant attention near the border of Bulgaria and Greece, where renowned archaeologist Nikolai Ovcharov unearthed a 13th-century vampire skeleton. The remains are believed to be those of a man between 40 and 50 years old, buried in a special ritual intended to prevent a mysterious death from leading to a return from the underworld. This find offers a fascinating glimpse into ancient beliefs and the bizarre burial customs of the medieval era. The discovery was made on October 9th, while Ovcharov was excavating in the ancient city of Perperikon, located in southern Bulgaria, once a thriving center of the Thracians over 5,000 years ago. Archaeologists found that the skeleton had been pierced through the chest with an iron rod weighing about 2.2 pounds, believed to have come from a plow blade. Additionally, the left leg was disjointed and placed separately, a ritual thought to ensure the vampire could not rise from the grave. According to Ovcharov, such rituals were often performed in cases of unusual deaths, such as suicide or individuals believed to have the ability to return from the dead. This isn't the first vampire-related find in the Bulgaria-Greece border region. Bojidar Dimitrov, director of the National History Museum in Sofia, reported that at least 100 vampire skeletons have been discovered in the area. One particularly notable case occurred in 2012, when twin vampire skeletons were unearthed in Sozopol, a city near Perperikon. One skeleton belonged to a man whose feet were bound and a metal rod driven through his chest. The second was believed to be a 13th-century pirate named Krivich, who was pinned through the chest with a sharp stone rather than iron, adding another layer of mystery to the discovery. In some graves, archaeologists also found animals such as cats or chickens buried alongside the deceased. These animals were believed to guard against the return of vampires, protecting the living from the spirits of the dead. These findings not only provide insight into the worldview and beliefs of ancient societies, but also raise intriguing questions about how past cultures dealt with death and spiritual threats. Were vampires truly a founded belief, or simply a haunting part of human mythology? That question, it seems, remains difficult to answer. The tomb of the smoke mummified bodies. In January 2015, a remarkable archaeological discovery shocked the research community when scientists unearthed a tomb filled with smoke mummified remains of ancient Filipinos. The tomb lies deep within the dark caves of Mount Timbak in Benguet Province, located over 200 miles north of Manila, Philippines. These mummies are not merely preserved corpses, but part of a unique mortuary ritual practiced by the Ibaloy, an ancient ethnic group in the region. Mount Timbak is one of the few places where the ancient tradition of smoke mummification still survives in physical form, a custom dating back over 1,000 years. The Ibaloy had an unusual funerary practice. They smoked the corpses for several months, transforming them into what are now known as fire mummies. Once the body was properly smoked, it would be buried in tombs carved deep into the mountains, forming ancient cemeteries hidden within the caves. The preservation is so exceptional that the mummies have survived for thousands of years without decomposing. This explains why some mummies in the Timbak cave system remain intact to this day, with visible tattoos still present on their arms and legs. The exploration of these mummies has drawn attention from many, including Edgar Allan Zeta Yep, a young researcher who climbed Mount Timbak to witness the mummies firsthand. He shared, "These mummies are so well preserved you can even see the tattoos on their arms and legs." The smoke mummification ritual came to an end around 400 years ago with the arrival of Spanish colonizers. However, the burial caves remained untouched until the 19th century, when they were finally discovered. Today, some of the tombs are open to the public, allowing people to witness this fascinating cultural legacy. The most terrifying imperial tomb in China. In 1955, an archaeological team led by Guo Moruo began excavating the Dingling tomb, a daring challenge for a relatively inexperienced group. Officially known as the Ming Dingling, this tomb, over 300 years old, was the resting place of Emperor Wan Li Ju Yijun of the Ming dynasty. Its construction took 6 years and cost nearly 8 million taels of silver. While not as grand as other imperial tombs, Dingling was meticulously built, posing significant obstacles during excavation. The team spent over 1.5 years locating the entrance to the underground palace, sealed by a diamond-shaped wall 28.9 feet high and 5.2 feet thick. As the excavation reached critical stages, local rumors spread that the underground palace housed a river. To reach the emperor's coffin, one supposedly needed to navigate a small boat across a chasm thousands of feet deep, filled with sharp swords, and only someone born on the same date as Emperor Wanli could access the coffin. Though these superstitious tales caused unease, Guo Moruo's team pressed on, dismissing the rumors. After months of relentless effort, the team reached the main chamber housing the emperor's coffin. Excavators reported 3 red coffins in the center. The middle one belonged to Emperor Wanli, flanked by those of his empresses. Upon opening the coffins, the team was thrilled to uncover a vast array of treasures, including the emperor's dragon crown, adorned with over 120 gemstones, 5,000 pearls, and crafted entirely with gold thread. However, the archaeological practices of the time were rudimentary, and due to limited resources, some artifacts suffered severe damage. The emperor's wooden coffin, deemed of little research value, was left by a mountain crevice. 7 villagers, hearing of this, retrieved the coffin and divided its precious, centuries-old wood among themselves, unaware of the misfortune it would bring. A local warned, "The emperor's belongings aren't for just anyone. Without the right fortune, they could bring death." Soon, strange events unfolded. An elderly couple who had a coffin made from the emperor's wood died within weeks. A farmer who placed a piece of the wood on his altar lost all 4 of his children to unexplained deaths. Others who took the wood faced continuous misfortune. Even the archaeologists were not spared. Guo Moruo's wife, Yu Li-kun, hanged herself in their old Beijing home, and their 2 sons died by suicide. Zheng Zhenduo, the excavation overseer, perished in a plane crash. Wu Han, who advocated for the tomb's excavation, took his own life in prison. Liu Din, the photographer who opened the emperor's coffin, also died by suicide. It seemed that when the underground palace was opened, a curse from Emperor Wanli's tomb was unleashed. Despite the discovery of countless treasures, Dingling left a legacy of fear and trauma in Chinese archaeology. Since then, an unwritten rule has prohibited the proactive excavation of imperial tombs in China. The 148 ancient tombs beneath a zoo. In 1956, during the construction of a zoo in Guangdong Province, China, an unexpected discovery revolutionized archaeology. Over decades, archaeologists uncovered approximately 500 ancient tombs in the area. In early 2024, the Guangzhou Institute of Cultural Heritage and Archaeology resumed excavations, identifying 148 tombs from the Han, Tang, Jin, Southern Song, and Ming dynasties. Alongside these tombs, nearly 200 artifacts were unearthed, ranging from intricately crafted jade to complexly designed pottery, offering valuable insights into ancient burial customs. Spanning 2,100 years of Chinese history, these tombs and artifacts provide researchers a rare opportunity to study the evolution of burial practices. From April to July 2024, the Guangzhou Institute excavated nearly 150 tombs across 13,993 square feet within the zoo. The oldest tomb dates to the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE, 220 CE. 8 tombs are from the Jin Dynasty, 265 to 589 CE, 15 from the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 CE, 121 from the Ming and Qing dynasties, and 48 others. 2 tombs particularly captivated experts, one from the Eastern Jin Dynasty, over 1,700 years old, nearly 32.8 feet long and almost perfectly preserved despite a small hole made by tomb robbers, and a smaller Southern Dynasty's tomb, also well preserved despite looting attempts. The Eastern Jin tomb is considered the largest and best preserved of its era found in Guangzhou. These discoveries are pivotal for studying burial customs and funeral practices in Guangzhou. They also shed light on construction techniques from the Jin and Southern dynasties. The Guangzhou Institute has developed tourism programs, allowing visitors to explore these dynasties' histories. Ongoing research aims to deepen understanding of ancient Chinese burial traditions and societal changes, offering the public a clearer view of how burial practices evolved across dynasties. Mass grave of 380 skeletons from the 1st century. Recently, archaeologists discovered a mass grave containing 380 skeletons in Denmark. Analysis reveals these remains date to the 1st century CE, a time when the Roman Empire was expanding northward, frequently clashing with ancient Germanic tribes. Led by Dr. Mette Løvskjold from Aarhus University, researchers found nearly 380 human skeletons in the wetlands of Enge in the Illerup River Valley. Most skeletons belonged to adult males aged 40 to 60, though some were children as young as 13 or 14. All showed signs of bodily trauma before death, with additional evidence of gnawing by animals like foxes, dogs, and wolves. Dr. Løvskjold notes that many skeletons bore marks suggesting these individuals were not all trained soldiers or experienced in combat. They were likely hastily assembled to confront an enemy. Alongside the 380 skeletons, archaeologists uncovered weapons such as swords, iron knives, axes, and shield fragments, as well as pottery and bones of dogs, pigs, and cattle. These findings indicate that the conflicts between the Roman Empire and Germanic tribes significantly impacted society, involving large-scale battles with participants of various ages. 200,000-year-old tombs, not created by our species. In June 2024, an excavation in South Africa stunned the scientific community with the discovery of ancient tombs containing remains of a peculiar prehistoric human species. These remains belong not to Homo sapiens, our species, but to Homo naledi, an ancient human lineage with a striking resemblance to us, yet distinct traits. Living in trees with brains far smaller than ours, their discovery marks a turning point in understanding human evolution. The remains were found 98.4 feet underground in the Cradle of Humankind cave system near Johannesburg, South Africa, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. These tombs are remarkable not only for their existence, but also for revealing burial practices far earlier than previously imagined. Led by Dr. Lee Berger from the University of the Witwatersrand, researchers suggest these burials occurred around 200,000 years ago, at least 100,000 years earlier than evidence of Homo sapiens burials. Homo naledi had brains the size of an orange and stood about 4.9 feet tall, with ape-like bodies and limbs ill-suited for complex tasks like digging graves. Yet their burial practices indicate cognitive and social behaviors far more advanced than previously attributed to them. Burial, once thought unique to modern humans, was evidently practiced by Homo naledi in this early evolutionary period. This discovery raises profound questions about human evolution, suggesting it was not a linear path, but a complex web, with species like Homo naledi achieving significant social and cognitive advancements before extinction. It reshapes our view of ancient humans, challenging the notion that behaviors like burial were exclusive to Homo sapiens. To further explore human evolution and burial practices, scientists continue excavating and studying these sites at the Rising Star Cave System, renowned for discoveries of other human species. More surprises about our evolutionary past await. Stay tuned! Mass grave of 227 sacrificed children. Brutally killed in a large-scale sacrificial ritual 1,400 years ago, the remains of 227 children aged 4 to 14 were recently uncovered in a mass grave at Pampa La Cruz, Peru. This is considered one of the largest recorded child sacrifice rituals in human history. Archaeologists and historians believe these children were forced to participate in a Chimu Empire ceremony to avert natural disasters linked to the El Niño phenomenon, which religious leaders believed could bring salvation to their community. The Chimu Empire, predating the Inca civilization, developed a society with complex beliefs and enigmatic religious rituals. Authorities and religious leaders organized massive sacrifices to appease deities, particularly during times of perceived natural unrest, such as crop failures and disasters. This is not the first such discovery at Pampa La Cruz, where mass child killings were previously documented. In June 2018, archaeologists found the remains of 56 children and 140 llamas, also part of similar sacrificial rituals. However, this discovery surpasses previous findings with a staggering 227 children sacrificed simultaneously. Most remains are remarkably intact, some retaining skin, hair, and even glittering silver earrings, intensifying the horror and tragedy of the massacre. This mass grave not only serves as evidence of one of history's most horrific sacrificial rituals, but also reminds us of the brutality ancient civilizations could inflict in the name of religion and supernatural protection. Though 1400 years have passed, these innocent children remain witnesses to a dark era where the deaths of countless youths were seen as a means to placate nature's wrath. What are your thoughts on these images? Personally, I find it terrifying and heartbreaking for those innocent children. Mass grave of 500 women and children. A haunting archaeological discovery was made at Dulag 191, one of Nazi Germany's notorious concentration camps, located in southwestern Russia near the Ukraine border. Archaeologists uncovered a mass grave containing the remains of over 500 women and children, victims of one of the bloodiest chapters of World War II. Dulag 191 was a camp built to detain ethnic groups deemed enemies by the Nazis, witnessing the deaths of approximately 8,500 people, many of whom were women and children unable to escape the war's brutality. According to excavation leader Mikhail Segodin, the unearthed bones primarily belonged to young individuals, bearing gunshot wounds and fractures. Tragically, no valuable items were found except a damaged cigarette case, indicating these were innocent people, abandoned and forgotten. The remains were discovered just beneath the surface in mass burial pits, where victims were hastily and disrespectfully interred. Local historian Viktor Strelkin shared that these pits lie beneath the feet of the living, occasionally exposing bones or thinly covered by soil, yet over time, the remains resurface, testifying to unforgettable cruelty. This discovery is not only a significant archaeological find, but also a stark warning about the pain of war and the atrocities humans can inflict on one another. The remains stand as vivid proof of a bloody past, reminding us of the value of peace and the necessity of protecting human rights to prevent such crimes from recurring in history. The ancient Chinese tomb, containing 7 blood-red corpses. In 2016, an archaeological excavation at the Jinsha site in Qingyang District, Chengdu, Sichuan Province, China, led to a remarkable discovery that stunned the archaeological community. 7 ancient tombs containing corpses preserved in a blood-red hue. Jinsha is one of China's most significant archaeological sites of the 21st century and served as a cultural cradle along the upper reaches of the Yangtze River from the 12th to the 7th century BCE. According to experts, these 7 tombs date back to the Warring States period and vary in shape and size. Inside, in addition to the coffins containing the blood-red corpses, archaeologists found numerous burial items such as swords, spears, and bronze artifacts. The most striking feature was the blood-red color of the corpses, prompting a series of tests and analyses to understand this unusual preservation. The results revealed that the red coloration was due to cinnabar, a mineral used for thousands of years. Interestingly, not only the corpses, but also the surrounding soil exhibited the same red hue, suggesting a deliberate application. This discovery offers new insights into ancient burial customs and spiritual beliefs. Experts believe that the use of cinnabar was not merely decorative, but held deep spiritual significance, possibly symbolizing life and resurrection in the afterlife. These findings at Jinsha not only enhance our understanding of ancient burial practices, but also provide a glimpse into the beliefs and customs of our ancestors. The vibrant red corpses, after more than 2,500 years underground, now tell vivid stories of a glorious era and profound human beliefs. The 1,500-year-old tomb containing unseen secrets. While preparing the ground for a poultry farm in Germany, an exceptionally rare archaeological discovery astonished researchers. During the excavation, archaeologists uncovered a tomb approximately 1,500 years old, dating back to the time of the Great Migration of the Germanic tribes, a period marked by upheaval as tribes invaded and redivided lands following the fall of the Roman Empire. At the center of the tomb, archaeologists found a large bronze cauldron believed to have held the ashes of the deceased, possibly a high-ranking individual of that era. Archaeologist Suzanne Friedrich from the Landesmuseum Halle explained, "We are still searching for the remains of this person." This indicates the significance and intrigue of the excavation, as many aspects remain unresolved. Surrounding the cauldron, experts discovered the remains of 6 women, leading to the hypothesis that they might have been concubines or wives of the deceased, possibly buried to accompany him in the afterlife. However, whether these women were sacrificed or voluntarily participated in this ritual remains an open question. Additionally, remains of 11 animals, including cattle, dogs, and horses, were found. These findings suggest that the individual interred in the tomb was of high status. Beyond the main tomb, approximately 60 other graves were discovered in the area. Researchers believe this could be an ancient cemetery dating from around 480 to 530 CE, a period following the collapse of the Roman Empire and during the migration and settlement of Germanic tribes such as the Huns. Notably, among the artifacts uncovered were a glass bowl, gilded silver jewelry associated with clothing, a sword, an iron shield, a gold coin bearing the image of Emperor Zeno, and other items. Archaeologists believe these glass artifacts, intricately decorated, were products of Gallo-Roman artisans along the Rhine River, as only they possessed the technique to craft such items. Ancient treasures and mysteries in a 2,000-year-old tomb. 10 years ago, in April 2011, a construction company working on the installation of a drainage system in the Caputra area of Hanoi, Vietnam, accidentally uncovered two nearly 2,000-year-old tombs and a well about 656 feet away. The discovery of these ancient tombs and the well captured the attention of the people of Vietnam because of their historical significance, while archaeologists at the time were thrilled by the precious artifacts that allowed them to delve deeper into the lives of our ancestors. At that time, while excavating to install an underground drainage system at a depth of about 6.5 feet, the excavator's bucket scraped across a row of bricks, revealing the first tomb. Inside, there was a layer of mud about 13.8 inches thick, covering the tomb's floor. Upon noticing this, the workers stopped and called the Hanoi Cultural Heritage Management Board. As the excavator moved about 4.9 feet from the original location to continue digging, it unexpectedly scraped the roof of a second tomb, breaking part of it and exposing a layer of mud that nearly filled 1/3 of the tomb's interior. Archaeologists immediately arrived on site to investigate. The initial excavation revealed two tombs, a larger one and a smaller one, both shallow. Dr. Nguyen Lan Quang, vice president of the Vietnam Archaeological Association at the time, noted that one of the distinguishing features of these tombs was the row of bricks forming an arch along the roof of each tomb. Viewed from above, the two tombs resembled two fish lying parallel to each other in a northwest-southeast direction, each with a fish-like fin running along the back. He also remarked that this type of brickwork had never been seen before in other tombs. In the larger tomb, between the edges of the bricks, there were decorative patterns of coins and lattice designs. The smaller tomb had primarily fishbone patterns, with some lattice designs. However, one unsolved mystery was the discovery of 40 ancient Chinese characters in the larger tomb. On the left was the character for earth, and on the right, the character for wood. Dr. Nguyen Lan Quang sought advice from experts in classical Chinese rather than Han Nom, but has yet to receive an explanation for these characters. During the excavation, experts and archaeologists discovered 28 artifacts in the larger tomb, including 16 bowls, plates, and vases made of both glazed and unglazed ceramic, 9 iron nails that had rusted, a greenish-blue glass bead, a flat rectangular stone slab, and a very thin broken bronze bowl. Notably, they also found a layer of burnt rice and grains at the tomb's bottom. When the experts continued to sift through the mud, they discovered 2 small bowls. As they removed the upper layer of dirt, they uncovered more burnt rice and grains. Interestingly, some of the rice grains retained their husks and part of the stalks. These grains were roughly oval to round in shape, with a length-to-width ratio of 1.7 to 2.5 millimeters. When excavating the smaller tomb, experts found several rare items. This tomb contained only 5 ceramic objects, with a particularly beautiful chicken-shaped ceramic vessel being the highlight, complete with details such as the comb, eyes, and tail of the chicken. This was probably the most valuable artifact discovered in this excavation. Neither tomb showed evidence of wooden coffins or human remains. Dr. Nguyen Lan Quang explained that this is likely due to the complete decay of such materials, a common occurrence in tombs from the Northern Domination period in Vietnam. He further suggested that based on the size of the tomb bricks and the characteristics of the ceramics, both tombs likely date from the period of the 6 dynasties between the 4th and 6th centuries. The larger tomb is slightly older than the smaller one. Regarding the ancient well discovered nearly 656 feet away, the excavator had removed several rows of bricks from the well's rim, though the well's body remained largely intact. The bricks inside the well date from different periods, ranging from the 6th to the 15th century, indicating the long-term occupation of the area, which is located near the Red River and was once the outskirts of the ancient city of Dai La. The late Professor Nguyen Vinh Phuc, a historian and Hanoi scholar, shared with the press after the discovery that the area where the tombs and well were found was once a town or administrative center of ancient Jiao Chou. This area had long been known for the discovery of many Han tombs. He commented to the press 10 years ago, "Finding 2 ancient tombs and an ancient well in the Saputra urban area is not surprising, as where there were people living, there must have been people dying. Where there are people, there must also be water for daily use. If we continue to excavate in this area, we may discover even more ancient tombs." However, what is special about this excavation is the discovery of some artifacts that have never been seen before in Hanoi, such as bronze vessels, iron nails, and rice. All of this points to a glorious past of the people who lived during that time. You see, ancient tombs are not just burial sites for the deceased. They are time capsules, preserving the memories and secrets of entire civilizations. Every stone, every carving, every burial artifact tells a story that we, the people of the present, are striving to uncover. Even with all the advancements in modern technology, there will likely always be tombs that remain undiscovered and mysteries that stay unsolved. What do you think? Are these ancient mausoleums trying to send a message to future generations? Or are they simply timeless testaments to humanity's enduring desire for immortality? Let me know your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. For now, goodbye, and I'll see you again on our next journey.